Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, scrolling up and down through the messages with that one guy and thinking, what do I say next that's not boring? That actually makes him excited to talk to me, because let's be honest, texting has become the heartbeat of modern dating. It's where connections start, where attraction builds, and sometimes it's even where things fall apart. You can meet someone amazing, have a great time together, but if your texts don't create the right spark, the whole thing fizzles out. And that's frustrating, right? You don't want to be the woman he replies to out of politeness. You want to be the woman whose messages he can't wait to open. Here's the truth. Most people don't talk about men don't just crave physical attraction. They crave excitement, curiosity, and emotional stimulation. They want texts that make them smile, make them think, make them feel something. That's why some women, without even realizing it, become unforgettable over text, while others just blend into the noise of his phone. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Matthew, I don't want to play games. And I get it. This isn't about manipulation or being someone you're not. It's about learning how to communicate in a way that highlights your personality, your confidence, and your unique vibe. So today, I'm going to share with you 3 texting secrets that men simply cannot resist. And trust me, once you start using these, you'll notice a shift. He'll text back faster. He'll put in more effort. And most importantly, he'll start to miss you in between conversations. Are you ready? Let's dive in. When it comes to texting, one of the most powerful tools you can use is playfulness. Playfulness is magnetic. It's that spark that takes a boring, ordinary exchange and turns it into something that makes him grin like an idiot while staring at his phone. And here's the truth, men cannot resist it. Why? Because most of the conversations they're having through text are predictable, dull, and surface level. Think about it. If he's dating, he's probably getting a lot of messages that sound the same. Hey, what are you doing? How's your day? Did you eat? They're fine, but they're not memorable. They don't make him feel anything. They don't create energy. But when you tease him, even lightly, it suddenly shifts the dynamic. It shows that you're confident enough not to walk on eggshells, that you're comfortable enough to inject humor into the conversation. And confidence wrapped in humor is irresistible. Let me give you an example. Let's say he tells you, I'm heading to the gym. A typical response might be, oh, nice. What workout are you doing? That's fine. But playful would be him. Just don't spend more time staring in the mirror than actually lifting weights. Okay, that's cheeky. It's fun. And it makes him want to prove himself to you. Or imagine you're making plans and he says, I'll pick the restaurant. Instead of just saying, sure, you could reply, all right, but if you take me somewhere boring, I'm bringing snacks in my bag. It's playful, it's teasing, but it also shows you're not taking yourself too seriously. This is what creates chemistry over text. The reason teasing works so well is because it adds a layer of flirtation without being heavy-handed. You're not sending him paragraphs about your feelings or asking him where the relationship is going. You're simply creating a vibe that feels light, fun, and memorable. And guess what? That's exactly what men chase. They want to feel like they're talking to someone who can brighten their day, someone who makes them laugh, someone who challenges them a little instead of just agreeing with everything they say. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if he doesn't get my joke? What if he doesn't like it? And I want you to hear me on this. If a man doesn't respond well to playfulness, he's probably not your guy. Because if he can't handle you being fun, confident, and a little cheeky, then how is he going to handle a real relationship where humor and lightness are essential? The right man will love it. He'll lean in. He'll start teasing you back. And that's when the spark turns into fire. Think about it this way. Playfulness is not about trying to make him laugh like you're a stand-up comedian. It's about injecting little moments of levity into the conversation that make him associate you with positive emotions, because people remember how you make them feel. And when every time your name pops up on his phone, he thinks, oh, this is going to be fun. That's when you've got him hooked. So don't be afraid to lean into that playful side of you. Don't be afraid to tease him when he says something predictable. Don't be afraid to drop in a cheeky comment that makes him laugh. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real and showing him that you're not just another text in his inbox. You're the one that makes him feel alive. And trust me, that's a secret men cannot resist. One of the biggest mistakes people make when texting is thinking that more words equal more connection. It doesn't. In fact, when it comes to attraction, less is often more. And here's why: when you give him everything up front, when you spill every single detail of your day, every single thought in your head, you leave nothing for him to chase, nothing for him to discover. Mystery is one of the most powerful forces in attraction, and it's something men find absolutely irresistible when it's done right. Let me paint the picture. Imagine he texts you, "How was your day?" Now, most people feel the urge to respond with a play. Well, I woke up late, then I had coffee, then I went to work, then my boss annoyed me, then I had lunch with Sarah, and then I had to rush to get groceries. And by the time you're done, you've written a short novel. Does it give him information? Sure. Does it create attraction? Not really. Now imagine instead you say something like, "It was interesting, I'll tell you when I see you." Immediately, you've planted a seed. You've left something for him to wonder about. You've given him a reason to think about you until the next time you meet. That little bit of intrigue is far more powerful than an essay of details. See, men are wired to chase. They enjoy discovery. When you leave space for curiosity, you allow him to lean in. If he feels like he already knows everything, what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, there's no mystery left. And without mystery, there's no tension. Attraction thrives in tension. Now, I'm not saying you should be vague to the point of being frustrating. Mystery isn't about withholding to manipulate. It's about balance. Share enough to keep the conversation flowing, but always leave something for him to uncover in person. It's about painting half the picture and letting his imagination fill in the rest. That's what hooks him. Let's look at another example. If he asks, "What are you up to right now?" and you reply, "Just watching Netflix," the conversation often dies right there. But if you say, "I'm watching something that I know you'd have strong opinions about," now you've created curiosity. He's intrigued. He's already imagining what it could be. And he wants to ask more questions. That's the difference between a closed answer and an open loop. Think about your favorite TV show. Why do you binge watch episode after episode? Because they end on a cliffhanger. They give you just enough to keep you hooked, but not so much that you don't need the next episode. That's exactly how you should think about texting. Every message is an opportunity to create a tiny cliffhanger to make him want the next message, the next date, the next interaction. When you master this, you'll notice something magical happen. He starts initiating more. He starts putting in the effort to dig deeper. He starts investing in uncovering more about you because you're not just handing it all over, you're letting him work for it, and men value what they work for. So remember, this attraction isn't about giving him the whole book at once. It's about giving him one page, one chapter at a time. Let him chase the storyline. Let him crave the next detail. That's the art of mystery. And when you use it in your texts, you don't just keep his attention, you make him addicted to finding out more. Flirting over text is one of the most powerful ways to build attraction. But here's the catch. So many people either go too far or don't go far enough. On one end, you've got people who play it so safe that the conversation feels flat. It's polite, it's nice, but it's not exciting. On the other end, you've got people who come on way too strong, pouring out everything, sending overly sexual messages before there's even a foundation, and it ends up scaring the guy off. The real magic, it lives in the middle. It's about flirting in a way that's suggestive, fun, and a little cheeky, but never desperate, never needy, and never all in. And this, ladies, is a secret men cannot resist. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine he texts you, "What are you up to?" A safe response would be, "Just watching Netflix." Okay, fine. A too intense response might be, "Thinking about you and how much I want to be in your arms right now." That can feel a little heavy, especially early on. But flirting without overcommitting would sound like, "Just watching Netflix," but it would definitely be way more fun if you were here. Do you see the difference? You've planted the idea. You've created an image in his head, but you've also left it playful, light, not overly serious. That's irresistible because men love to feel like you're interested without feeling like you're trying to lock them down through a text message. Flirting without overcommitting also creates a dynamic of push and pull. It's like saying, "I like you, I enjoy you, I see you in that way, but I'm not throwing my whole heart at you just through a screen." That balance is what keeps him chasing. Here's another example. Let's say he says something cocky like, "You're lucky you get to hang out with me." Now, instead of replying with, "Haha, yes, I am," which sounds too easy, you could say, "Lucky. We'll see, I'll let you know after." That's flirty, but it also challenges him. It keeps you in a position of strength. Or imagine he compliments you. You looked so good last night. A safe, simple reply would be, thank you. A too intense reply would be, I've been thinking about you all night. I can't stop. But the sweet spot, flirt without overcommitting. Careful, keep saying things like that, and I'll start to think you're obsessed with me. Playful, cheeky, flirty, and it makes him want to reassure you even more. The reason this works is because men don't just want to feel desire. They want to feel like they're winning you over. They want the chase. And when you flirt in this balanced way, you're giving him enough to know he has your attention, but not so much that he feels the game is already over. And here's something really important. When you flirt without overcommitting, you protect yourself, because you're not handing over your entire heart and emotional energy to someone you don't fully know yet. You're keeping things fun, safe, and exciting without putting yourself in a position where you're waiting by the phone for him to validate you. You're in control of your energy. So next time you text him, ask yourself, does this message invite him closer, spark attraction, and make him smile? Or does it either fall flat or try too hard? If you keep yourself in that sweet middle ground, you'll find that men don't just reply, they engage, they invest, and they start craving more. Remember this. Great flirting is like dancing. You take a step forward, you take a step back, you give him a hint, then you pull away. You let him feel the thrill of wondering what's next. And when you master this rhythm, your texts stop being words on a screen. They become an experience he can't stop thinking about. Compliments are powerful. They're like little deposits of energy into someone's soul. But here's the thing, most people use them in ways that are predictable, shallow, or forgettable. And when it comes to men, most of the compliments they hear about their looks or their status. You're hot. You're so tall. You look good in that shirt. Sure, those things are nice. They don't stick. They don't hit his heart. If you want to stand out, if you want to send a message that lingers in his mind long after he's put his phone down, you've got to go deeper. You've got to master the art of the unexpected compliment. And when you do, he won't just like your text. He'll replay it in his head over and over because it touches a part of him that hardly anyone else acknowledges. Let me give you an example. If he makes you laugh, don't just say, you're funny. That's generic. Instead, say, I love how you can make me laugh even when I've had the worst day. Now, you're not just complimenting his humor, you're showing him the impact he has on you. That's powerful. Or imagine he tells you about how he helped a friend move or supported a family member. You could say, I think it's amazing how loyal you are. Most people wouldn't go out of their way like that. That's not something he hears every day. And because it's specific, it feels real. The beauty of unexpected compliments is that they highlight qualities about him that go beyond the surface. His kindness, his determination, his creativity, his way of making people feel at ease. These are things men secretly crave recognition for, but rarely get. And when you're the person who notices them, you become unforgettable. Now, here's where it gets even better. Compliments, when done right, also create attraction because they make a man feel safe opening up more. If he feels like you see him, not just the surface, but the deeper layers, he starts to want more of that feeling. He wants to keep talking to you, keep showing you more sides of himself because you actually get him. And in a world where so many people only notice the obvious, being the person who notices the hidden is like being a breath of fresh air. Let's take texting specifically instead of the typical good morning or hey, what's up? Try dropping a thoughtful compliment out of nowhere. Something like, I was just thinking about how focused you are when you talk about your goals. It's honestly really attractive. That kind of message catches him off guard in the best way. Because now you've given him encouragement, admiration, and a subtle flirtation all rolled into one. The unexpected compliment also works brilliantly when paired with playfulness. For example, if he's joking around, you could say, you're such a troublemaker, but honestly, it's one of the things I adore about you. Playful, cheeky, but layered with warmth. He's not just being teased, he's being appreciated. That's a combination men crave. Now, I do want to add this compliments should be genuine. Men, just like women, can sense when flattery is fake. So don't just throw out a line because you think it will make him like you more. Really pay attention. Notice the small details that most people overlook. That's where the magic lies. So remember this, while physical attraction might get his attention, It's the unexpected compliment that gets his heart, because anyone can tell him he looks good, but very few people will notice the way his eyes light up when he talks about something he loves, or how thoughtful he is when he checks in on you, or how persistent he is when he's chasing his goals. When you send him a message that reflects those things, you're not just texting, you're showing him you see him. And men can't resist a woman who sees the version of themselves they want to be. That's the secret. If there's one thing that separates a casual connection from a deep, lasting one, it's this having your own little world together. And when it comes to texting, one of the most powerful ways to create that world is through inside jokes and shared language. Think about it. Anyone can say good morning. Anyone can say, how's your day? But when you and him have your own phrases, your own nicknames, your own running jokes, suddenly the conversation isn't just words. It's a private universe only the two of you live in. And men, they can't resist that, because when you have inside jokes with someone, it instantly makes the connection feel more intimate and special. Here's why this is so powerful. When he gets a text from you that references a moment only the two of you shared, it triggers an emotional memory. It takes him back to that moment of laughter, that spark you created, that experience that no one else gets. It's not just a message, it's a reminder of your bond. And people chase the things that make them feel special. Let me give you an example. Imagine the first time you met, you jokingly called him Mr. Trouble because of something cheeky he said. If you text him a week later, mixtator, trouble, I hope you're not causing chaos without me. It's not just a message, it's a callback to a shared moment. It makes him smile because it's yours. No one else can replicate it. Or maybe you both had a funny experience at a restaurant. Say the waiter mixed up your order and you both laughed about it. Later you could text, careful, I might need to check the menu twice if you're picking the restaurant this time. That's an inside joke. It's light, playful, and it makes him feel like you two already have a shared story. What's happening here is you're building a language of intimacy. Couples who last don't just share affection. They share these little private signals, references, and jokes. And when you start that early on in texting, you lay the foundation for something that feels unique. He won't confuse you with anyone else because the way you talk to each other, the things you reference, are just between you two. Now, here's the important part. You don't have to force it. Inside jokes aren't something you sit down and plan. They naturally come out of your interactions, your shared experiences, your playful banter. The key is to notice them when they happen and then keep them alive. When he says something that makes you laugh, turn it into a reference point. When you call him a silly nickname once, bring it back later. Those little callbacks are what give your text texture. And here's the kicker when you create this kind of shared language. It makes him think about you even when you're all not texting. He could be out with his friends and something reminds him of one of your jokes. And suddenly you're in his head. That's powerful because attraction isn't just about the moments you're together. It's about how much he thinks about you when you're apart. So ladies, don't underestimate the magic of inside jokes. They may seem small, but they're the glue that makes a connection feel personal and unforgettable. They take an ordinary text conversation and make it extraordinary. They create intimacy without pressure, flirtation without effort, and a bond that feels unique. Remember, anyone can send a good night text. But when you send good night, Mr. Trouble, it's not just good night, it's your good night. And that difference, that's what makes him smile at his phone and think, God, I love talking to her. Inside jokes and shared language don't just keep him engaged. They make him feel like you're already building something real. And trust me, that's a secret he won't ever want to let go of. So ladies, let's bring this all together. Texting isn't about sending perfect lines or memorizing scripts. It's about creating feelings. It's about sparking emotions that make him light up when he sees your name on his phone. When you're playful, you make him laugh and feel alive. When you add mystery, you keep him curious and wanting more. When you flirt without overcommitting, you build tension that pulls him closer. When you give unexpected compliments, you make him feel seen in ways no one else does. And when you create inside jokes, you give him a world only the two of you share. That combination, it's irresistible. It's what turns casual texting into powerful connection. But here's the thing, don't just listen to this and think, oh, that was nice advice. I want you to try it. I want you to send that playful message. I want you to add that little bit of mystery. I want you to surprise him with that unexpected compliment. because the moment you start applying these secrets, you'll see the difference in how he responds, how much effort he puts in, and how deeply he starts craving you. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what's one text you've sent that always gets him smiling. Share your secret, because you never know, you might just inspire someone else watching this right now. And if this video gave you value, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a friend who could use a little texting confidence. Because remember, love isn't about saying more. It's about saying the right things in the right way. So go out there, have fun with this, and watch how quickly he starts to realize your texts aren't just messages, they're the highlight of his day.